As a resident doctor who runs a YouTube channel, I get asked a lot of questions about how I balance residency, my social life, my physical health, and running this channel without getting burnt out. And the truth is, it's really hard sometimes. And even then, I still have moments where I don't accomplish everything that I really want to. This video is not gonna be some sort of idealized productivity guru routine. It's gonna be about how I actually manage my time in residency without going absolutely insane. For those of you guys who are new here, my name is Sean Anderson, and I'm a second-year anesthesiology resident based in San Diego, California. So like I've said, I'm a resident physician, and my work hours can vary significantly. Some weeks I can work 60 hours, some weeks I work 80 hours, I've got 10-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts, 24-hour shifts. On an average day, I'm getting to the hospital at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning. I am going and seeing my patients, getting set up in the OR, going through cases all day, and hopefully getting home by 5 p.m. if I'm lucky. Now, sometimes I go home a little bit earlier than that, but then other times I'm the late resident and I might have to stay until 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. And then even when I get home, the work isn't necessarily done because I still have to pre-op and chart review for my cases the next day, and that can take anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. Not to mention, there's always the chance of having your room assignment changed at the last minute. I've had it as late as 9 p.m. when I find out that all the cases I thought I was gonna do the next day get changed to another room. There's also days where you have 24-hour shifts and you get to the hospital at 7 a.m. and you leave at 7 a.m. the next day. That's been my schedule so far since July, but next month my schedule changes where I'll actually be in the ICU, and that schedule is gonna be more like 6 days a week, 12-hour shifts, with 6 24-hour shifts sprinkled in throughout the month. So it's a very variable schedule and you really never know what it's gonna look like. Now that's just residency, but obviously I spend a fair amount of my time during the week creating content for social media. Now for YouTube, I post a vlog every single Sunday, and over the last few months, I've also started posting an extra video most Wednesdays. For example, the video you guys are watching right now. Now my time commitment per week goes into things like planning these videos, filming the videos, editing the videos, coordinating with sponsors. It's definitely less time than I spend on things related to residency, but it's still a pretty significant amount of time. And recently I've also started dabbling with TikTok as an opportunity to start trying to drive more traffic to the channel. Now even though I spend a lot less time on all of the social media stuff put together compared to residency, it's still a significant amount of my week. And besides residency and busting out content on social media, I obviously have a life outside of all this, and I very much enjoy doing things with that life. Growing up, I've always been a hobbyist. I've always enjoyed things like tumbling, tricking, snowboarding. Over the last couple of years, I've picked up running and have been training for races like marathons. And now that I moved to San Diego, I am trying to enjoy all the things that San Diego has to offer. So my roommate Eddie and I have been doing a lot of things like surfing, going out and exploring new food places, coffee places. Not to mention we have 4 little dogs that we like to spend a lot of our time with. And I'll admit it, some nights I like to just veg out and play video games with my friends. There's a lot to do outside the hospital, and so I try to maximize my time for that as well. Now, what some people forget about residency is, although yes, you're a doctor, you're working in the hospital, you're earning a paycheck, you still have to study. We still have board exams we have to take. And so that's something I have to factor into most of my days. Even though I get all my work done, my content done, I socialize with my friends, I still have to study. I still have to do practice questions, get ready for those boards. In fact, just a few months ago, I took USMLE Step 3 while I was rotating through the ICU, doing night shifts. It was really tough to manage. But luckily, I had Board Vitals to help prepare for my exams, and they're actually the sponsor of this video. Board Vitals offers thousands of high-quality practice questions with detailed explanations, all curated by experts. I am so happy that I used Board Vitals for Step 3. I wish I had them for Step 1 and 2, but now I get to use them for my anesthesia boards, which is really, really awesome. By far, the most useful feature to me has been the ability to stratify the questions by easy, medium, and hard. It's perfect for someone like me who's just starting their anesthesiology training and doesn't have a lot of experience. I can essentially start with easier questions to get my foundations with the basics and then work my way up. This has helped me stay consistent with practice questions rather than getting intimidated by these hard topics that I haven't learned yet. And in general, it's always a good idea to start with the foundations before you work your way up to harder concepts. You can also customize your question bank with testing mode, adaptive mode, tutor mode, and study mode, and that really allows you to study in a way that's best for you. And the feedback to your responses and explanations to the questions are super detailed. And the tests look like the actual thing, so you're studying in the same user interface that you're going to have on test day, which I absolutely love. And Board board vitals isn't just for the step exams or for anesthesiology residents. Whether you're a resident in another specialty, an NP, a PA, a nurse, pharmacist, podiatrist, they've got a question big for you. I'll have the link to board vitals in the description box below, and you guys can actually get 15% off with my coupon code Sean. Make sure to check them out. I think you guys will find them extremely useful for any exam that you have to take. And thank you so much to Board Vitals for helping me pass my exam and for sponsoring this week's video. So as you can see, there are a lot of demands on my time right now, and unfortunately not enough hours in the day. So let's talk about how I manage it all. Now, first off, let's talk about mindset. And I really love the saying to not let perfect be the enemy of good. When you're trying to balance a lot of things simultaneously, it's inevitable that you're either going to, one, not get everything done, or two, you're gonna get everything done, but it's not gonna be as perfect as you wish it was. And sometimes that's okay. There are diminishing returns on time and effort, so sometimes it's more about finding the sweet spot on what is considered good enough. Are there times that I wish I could get more studying in? Yeah, of course. Are there times that I wish I could spend more time editing a video? Definitely. But at this point in my life, I can't always do that. So it's about identifying what's most important and putting your focus towards that. Oftentimes, only 20% of inputs are responsible for 80% of outputs. So it's better to focus on that 20%. Balance isn't about perfection. It's about making intentional choices with the time that you have. So this brings me to my next point, which is constantly assessing your priorities. At any given moment, you should know what the one most important thing you need to do is so that you can really use your time wisely. The word priority was actually singular for most of its existence. It came about in the 1400s from the Latin root prioritas, meaning first in rank, order, or dignity, i.e. the one thing you need to do before anything else. It wasn't until the 1900s that it became plural, i.e. priorities. Multitasking is a myth. You simply cannot look left and right at the same time, so it's better not to try. When you try to multitask, you're not actually working on things simultaneously. You're simply just task switching, which is definitely going to incur a cost on your productivity and your final product. It's much faster to complete things in sequence rather than trying to work on them simultaneously. Focus on one thing at a time and only move on when that thing is finished or good enough. One example of this that I do is if I'm working on editing my weekly vlog, I will just finish editing the video to the point where I feel like I'm happy with it and you guys would be happy with it, even if there are other things I want to add to it. If it's considered good enough, I'll move on from that and start studying rather than trying to work on the video a little bit, do some studying, going back to working on the video, doing some more studying. It's better just to have my full focus on that one thing. Now this is a good segue into my next topic, which is batching tasks. Again, you lose time and efficiency when you try to switch tasks, so I like to take similar things and batch them together. This has been especially helpful when it comes to social media. For example, I only film TikToks or short form content like once or twice a week. When I do, I will often film multiple pieces of content and then just schedule it out over the course of the week. This lets me put my full focus into just filming that content and then not having to worry about it after. As a result, the quality of the content is better because it's intentional and not just an afterthought. Plus, it's just easier on your time. Another example that I use batching tasks for are things like exercise and socializing. So I like to go running a few days a week. And so I'll go running with my friends or my roommate Eddie, and I'll use that as a time to not only get exercise, but also to catch up with my friends. So batching isn't just for things that are part of the same genre. It's also for doing multiple things that work well together so that you can really make the most out of your time. Now, the next point is a little bit more relevant for my social media stuff, but I think over the next few years, it's gonna become more relevant to my career as a doctor. And basically that is knowing the value of your time. I personally believe it's good to assign a dollar value to your time so that you can easily determine what you should and shouldn't spend your time doing. So for example, I tend to eat out a lot, and a lot of people tell me that I should be just grocery shopping and cooking my meals at home and saving money that way. But here's the thing, right now my time is quite limited. If you think about the time it would take to drive to the grocery store, go grocery shopping, come home, meal prep, cook, do the dishes, put away the food, all that time really adds up on a weekly basis. So let's just say that all of that would take like 10 hours out of my week. From a financial perspective, it is better for me to spend that 10 hours on content creation, because from that 10 hours, I can earn enough to cover all the eating out during the week and still end up net positive. So one day when I'm attending and I'm making a lot more than I am now, I will probably be spending my money on doing things that will help me get some of my time back. These might be things in the form of house cleaners, meal prep services, really anything that will allow me to spend more of my time doing things I actually want to do versus things I don't want to do. So for example, as an anesthesiologist, let's just say that I pick up a weekend 24-hour in-house call shift and that shift were to pay like $5,000, then just by working that one shift, you can cover all of these costs for probably a couple months. And then again, you're in a position where you're really buying your time back. That one example of working 24 hours can save me over 40 hours a month on things I don't necessarily want to be doing. And also, what's the point of working really hard to earn a high salary if you can't buy your time back and spend less time doing things you don't want to do and more time doing things you actually want to do? Now, this is something that is going to be different for everyone. I know people who really enjoy grocery shopping and cooking, and they find it therapeutic and almost a way to express themselves, but that's just not one of my priorities. If it is for yours, then you might not see it as something that is using up your time. Again, everyone is different and you have to set your priorities. Lastly, when it comes to time management, it's important to be real with yourself about what you can and can't accomplish. When you're juggling a lot of things, it's inevitable that sometimes things are gonna fall through the cracks. There are weeks where I feel like I really dropped the ball. That's just residency. If you get down on yourself and you spend more time and mental energy on beating yourself up over it, then you're just wasting more time. It's important to be very sympathetic and kind to yourself. And whether you're a resident or not, sometimes life is just hard and you're gonna have good days and you're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have top 10% days, which means you have to have bottom 10% days. And that's really just life. For instance, Eddie and I have been working really hard to produce extra uploads every single week, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. Whether I'm busy with residency, Eddie's busy with his day job, things don't work out with sponsors, whatever it is, sometimes it just doesn't work out. And instead of beating ourselves up over it, we just move on to the next week. One of my biggest gripes with productivity and medical influencers is that they create this totally false image of what productivity looks like and these completely unreal expectations of what you need to be like if you want to be successful as an entrepreneur or as a doctor. A lot of them romanticize that grindy lifestyle, and I think that all it does is create a lot of self-esteem issues in the viewers and isn't actually realistic to what most people can manage. In reality, you're not gonna be perfect, your day's not gonna go perfect, and that is totally okay, and that is more normal than your day going exactly as planned. The reality is that I don't have it all figured out. No one does. Literally, everyone is just hoping that they're making the right choices and are doing the best with the time that they have. And if you constantly do that day in and day out, I promise you're going to be successful. Anyway, that's all I've got. If you found this video helpful, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. And if you have any time management tips that have helped you balance your busy life, make sure to drop them in the comment section below. And I want to shout out Board Vitals once again for sponsoring this week's video. Make sure to go check them out. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you guys next time.